What are we expecting coming into this? I mean, especially against G2, right? They've got to do well.
Oh yeah, against anyone you want to do well on the attack side. At the time we saw it versus Heretics, 9-3. So I wouldn't be surprised to see more of the same. And hey, for Paditech, not a bad start at all.
Very convincing opening there. They've got the site completely, the Viper Wall giving them all the cover they need, but they're going out aggressively still. Obviously, we're on the old iteration of Breeze. As you can see, the patch currently allowing Chamber to be in, but everything else is out. Neon and map changes. So no big old yellow. Oh, the side angle for Chihuahua. It's nasty, and he keeps on going.
Tall yet, and starting off on the defensive side, it's going to be difficult. Like, it's one where I believe, obviously, if this is their opponent's map choice, they've probably chosen to start on the defensive side, maybe wanting to go for that comeback later on. But if you just get slaughtered in that first half, it can be very difficult, even just mentally, to bring yourselves back from that depth.
Yeah, indeed. I think that's one of the big barriers here. It's a risk starting on the defense of this map. I think the majority of teams would have went for attack, but G2 having never played it before, I can see it going one of two ways, really. And for now, at least XL have the lead. But with all those marshals to play with on this defensive side, it's not an easy round. I think XL have realized that, though. I've already heard at least one marshal ringing out. I don't quite think they'll expect three.
That's info as well. They can keep the marshals homed in on this position. However, this is what I spoke about, the Lux. Chihuahua is already making his way towards the B site, taking an awful lot of space because those couple of players were tagged, and obviously who they are as well. Like, you find out a Sova's on one side, the push is probably going with the Sova. I don't think it's very common to have a lurking Sova. It would be a bit weird, if I'm honest. And while the rotations now come back in full force, there's no one here.
No, it's as free as can be. Now, the marshals can still do quite a bit of damage on range, and you're seeing Nukia pick off one. With no Viper Wall for the attacking side, they lose a lot of the defense they would have had otherwise against these rifles. But the thing they can do is just tuck in. Let these guys push on out and look to peek together on the back of it. I will say Aussie's kind of isolated because even if they do swing out to help him, his teammates are going to be in the firing line of these marshals, but well handled. They're winning every single duel, not being punished at all. But just Kellogg's left alive. And although we might be able to get a little bit of economy damage, yeah, there's no...
So I don't think we're going to see the true force of this defensive side just yet.
I'm seeing the markings go down over here towards the A side. Looks like they're heavily suspicious of a play coming out of XL, but well, they've had their suspicions confirmed in the worst possible way. Nukia on the site, only good for the one. Chihuahua on 5 HP took that duel. And he came out of it with just as much. Still sitting in towards the halls. He has got complete control. With Aussie low as well, this is very winnable for G2, but they need some well-placed shots right here and now. And with a Vova on 10 HP, I mean, this is starting to look like it's not going to go their way at all. They need a hero play.
Yeah, they also need to clear Chihuahua because just his presence alone around this corner, it's an unwinnable scenario. He's going to try and use the door to his advantage, but the fact is he's just going to act as a distraction as Aussie goes in from behind and kills us over. It leaves just one man standing. Meadow at least able to make this one a bit more costly, but you have to bear in mind this is only a bonus round, and as long as they don't do anything silly, it's a little bit uncomfortable. I don't think there's any time anyway, but...
Now coming in with just pistols, a marshal, their chances are even lower of getting something substantial done.
Well, yeah, if anything, I would say that G2 were a little bit lucky that they got XL in this matchup, because I think they have a 4-map pool. One of the maps they banned themselves, which was Fracture. The other map was banned by their opposition, was Bind, which was not one of the 4 maps that they were playing. So their opponent actually kind of helped them out a little bit. So... yeah, this was sort of the last nasty map for G2 that they had to get out, and then everything actually becomes a bit easier for them. So I would say that, again, for XL, they're going to have to put up good performances on maps where G2 are going to feel much more confident than this. And obviously, if this one slips away, then they've already lost the matchup. For now, though, as you sort of mentioned, this is looking incredibly good for XL.
Clocking up rounds. We're looking for a 4th here. And the Marshal is dealt with. The Sheriffs aren't getting up to much either. In fact, even in damage, XL are sitting pretty on the majority of their players.
Spike
Full
planted.
shields from Mo, Aussie, and Patatek still. And even then, Chihuahua's not going to go down to one shot to the body, so
Last
all
player
things considered,
standing.
this is a flawless round for XL. I mean, Avova needs to do incredibly well here. Even just to make this a costly round, lurking out till the end wouldn't be a bad call, but now he's been spotted and taken.
Otherwise, this is already getting out of control. Kellogg's, I said, this is where their proper defense truly begins. He's got the operator in hand, not for long. He's just been domed by I think he actually legged him or clipped him through the wall because he's down to 41 HP, but that's irrelevant. Kellogg's is up, does nothing.
I'm supposed to be the change, the big change for the team. Nukia going down through the holes is going to try to make a difference. I think he's going to be spotted. Oh, his head is so close to being seen. One step forward, and they're going to have plain view. It all comes down to timing. Is Avova still going to be watching for him stepping forward? Avova even has the spike. Oh, he somehow managed to evade detection even still. There's the wall, that's the peak, and Nukia has the god tier timing. Oh, this is so well handled by Nukia. The discipline, the game sense, and here's the reward. There's 3 players lined up for him. He'll take the first 2, as easy as can be. And now XL are trapped on the site. They've got players all around them, and they just can't get out of this one. 2v3, the spike down in the open, and too many angles, surely, but Chihuahua gets an off one, and now we're into a 2v2. Suddenly, this has become winnable for the attack.
Yeah, they're almost completely surrounded. Nukia, he's got the read, even after the dash away. I feel like this man is watching the same screen than I am. He knows everything that's going on, reading it perfectly, and it's left on to Chihuahua. Surely this cage is going to fade in just a second, and he's left completely in the open. No chance facing off against Beto. I don't know how to see something out of Kellogg's. Like, he had a quiet start to the game, that's okay, but it's a heavy investment to keep that operator on board each time. And, well, realistically, thus far, the last time he got it, he got shot in the head.
No, it wasn't ideal. It was Patatek peeking through a cloud burst as well. Just about everything went against Kellogg's to start with, but now he has the opportunity to play again, and it's super passive. Back of A site, no need to push up. Not when you've got that Viper's pit down on B. And the nasty thing here is the trap wire inside the pit. That's a guaranteed kill if anybody steps through without being cautious now. Usually they're going to shift walk through, but it's a nice touch to at least confirm if anybody's stepping up on you. It means Avova can relax somewhat.
I like as well that they've placed all of this utility and then they've got Meadow in a spot where he's not going to get hit by any of the KO utility. Yeah. He's definitely not going to get hit because they're going in the other direction. Now this takes the dash offline, leaves a lot to be desired. Good trade out from Patatek, already getting them into a pretty strong position, especially now with the ult that actually allows them to cross towards the site and hold on to the connector control.
Very interesting. The problem is you can only plant in a very finite spot. You're vulnerable to spams, but none come through. Hunter's Fury providing the cover for a moment. Bova's going to try to sneak on in. Kellogg's already taken down Patatek before dropping, but Aussie is still at large inside that Viper's pit. And that's the be-all and end-all of a round like this. If you do not get Aussie out of there, the round's already done. And indeed,
teams attempt it. Hasn't really worked out so far. I think the one risk is you can basically jump off the stairs into the ult and land anywhere. And that's always the thing with this ult is that you have a huge advantage if people are walking into it. If they jump over the top into the top of it, it's basically a 50-50 duel who sees the other person first. So it has its positives, its negatives, also very spammable for a lot of angles. So I think it's a strat that I don't expect XL to use all the time, but I like that they've thrown it in here. So solid round for them. And just look at what it's done to the economy of G2. It is as bad as it gets. Like when you have players on a classic in round 7, you know you've done some damage.
Yeah, it's not great. Maybe the Viper util can help though, right? Help take down their HP a little bit. It's huge. In fact, it's not even down right now for Volva. He's going to be using that wall. They maybe need to retake, but realistically, he's not going to be using the wall. And very little chance. Oh, excuse me, very little chance to. And instead, try to split through. Right click. Oh, it was so close.
30 seconds left.
The main person they have to worry about, though, is still Kellogg's. Bladestorm online, already managing to find a couple, but who's watching for Element up there, realistically? Well, that's not the first angle you check in an after-plunge scenario, because, yeah, it's as open as it gets. Still 2 players remaining. Hoodie does have a rifle to play with now. Something at least that maybe they can find a kill with. They've also pinged the player in the corner, so they know exactly where Ozzy is going to be. They managed to take down his...
It's the actual spawn in a round where his utility was being used to hold the choke point, because you just cannot account for where that knife's going to go. And as the Cypher, if it hits you, your value's out of the round completely for a little bit, and they're going to take that util out almost immediately. Why is Kellogg's here? How's he gotten all the way up? And he's even got Nukia with him on the other side of the wall. Oh, this is so nasty. In through they go, and as Kellogg's is spraying away, Nukia's finishing them off, and even Meadow chiming in to help at the end. That is a fantastic round. 2v2, though, that comes from it. Patatek's still fighting for it, and they're going to get this spike back.
This seems to keep happening. Like it's like G2 have everything ready for this round. The flank, the perfect timing, the push, the spike dropped. 2v2? Like, what? How's that happened? Kellogg will take down one, and that was left on to Chihuahua. He's been the star of the show so far, or 1 versus 2 to give them another round, and he's looking in the right direction, but
that round, losing a player to a wall bang is just fine. You don't want to be allowing those to consistently happen, though. This is the thing. You got to win rounds convincingly when you're this far behind as G2 if you want to really get a solid defensive half in. But I would say, especially because this isn't a map that... See, I don't know how to feel about it, Tom. Normally, I would say, oh, this isn't a map that they played before and so on, so I'm going to say the attack's going to be easier for them. But they did opt to start on the defense. And I don't know if that signals their lack of comfort on the attack, or like some teams just want to get the harder half out of the way first.
I think as well, like a lot of their maps have been very defense-sided just in general, so it might just be comfort more than anything. Again, we're going to have a battle of the Cyphers. Good positioning from Meadow is going to be enough to catch Chihuahua. They've been waiting for him. They've been watching. I'm a little bit wary, though. If Mo... Okay, so Mo's already used his drone. So I was about to say, if he used it here, he would have been screwed. And now they're slowly being flanked on. They've taken a lot of control elsewhere, but they need to clear over. And the spike is now just stuck, completely left on its own. Even with the Bladestorm, it's not enough. And, well, just these few aggressive angles being taken by G2 have almost guaranteed a third. The remaining players would have to pull off something truly ludicrous. And sure, Patatek's got into a spot that they might not necessarily expect. It's being watched.
Patatek's clearing it. I mean, fair play for checking all those corners, but Meadow is still there. And this is going to be the end of the round. 10 seconds left. Aussie's just going to try to save.
10 seconds left.
All right. Well, G2, I said you needed to win some rounds a little bit more convincingly for my liking. They've done a good job of that. Flawlessly won. Same agent, pretty much. Don't worry about it. I ult, I go into the site, and I get brought back to life. It's all the same.
I got a molly.
Have they just made a different Phoenix? Oh my god. Well, Hoodie's got his ulti online, but he's on the other side of the map to where the hit's coming in. The B side about to be tested, and we said a couple of times now the knife on Meadow is going to be a big problem if it gets hit, and it does. He's already taken the cage back, immediately aware that that was going to come through, and Evolva's then playing the secondary angle, taking a triple. This is such a nice setup from G2, and it has worked.
And if I'm not mistaken, Hoodie was on the other side of the map. So I think that there was definitely like a slight miscommunication with that push, because if the kill goes the other way, there's a good chance. Fast push in, Hoodie definitely not having the best of days. He's just been owned almost instantly. But well, I was gonna say Kellogg's is not in a bad spot, but he gets pinged and destroyed.
Owned almost instantly, but well, Kellogg's has been owned almost instantly again. Vulnerability coming into Aussie. If that came in a second earlier, he was dead to the shock dart. Patatek and Aussie now both low. Element comes to join them, gets tagged up as well. Oh, Vova had them lined up, but he doesn't know. He hasn't got the X-ray, thankfully. He's already too good without it. Look at this. He's right behind them. Hello. Evolva's joined the party, but they haven't spotted Aussie eventually.
Because the amount of times you'll just see them push into something and it's perfect. Like they've read it to as well as it could. Like no one's looking at them. They're all just like, well, no one will come from this way. And Evolva's like, hee hee hee. Like it happens too much.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I think Sometimes it really does just feel unfair when you've got these guys. They're playing on a different level, not just mechanically.
Careful.
XL, I've got a plan, but they've lost Patatek. My God. But he's walked up, taking the kill for free. Oh, that's really nice.
Love these.
You've got so much utility landing on Element. There was nowhere he could stand without being hit. Now he's 7 HP and a snake bite comes in. Oh, there was no escape for this man. Hit by every piece of utility under the sun. And XL getting absolutely destroyed. But here's the thing. Post-plant setups, there's too many players. They can keep swapping in and out. Yeah, you can kill them, but you've got to kill them a couple more times or they're just going to
6-1 up and 6-6. And now, as said, like, this map, at least in this iteration of it, has been very attacker-sided. Now, sure, we haven't seen how G2 perform on it, but, wow, I would be shocked if it wasn't any different when you had Kellogg's as the tip of your spear.
Well, we'll see. You could definitely imagine that they struggle with the lack of comfort, but I don't think there's been a lack of comfort visible so far. Meadow's gone down. A shock dart bounced through by Mo. Claims his scalp. Damage done to Hoodie as well. Great start on this retake for XL. They just need to be careful not to give anyone away for free.
Toxins going
I think that might have been a snake bite combo with it. There was an assist coming through from Aussie. And now Patatek on the flank has already managed to find another. This looking rough. And while Kellogg seemed to have a nice timing, it's left all onto Nuclear Classic at this range, hoping that he can fire at every.
If they let it slip a little bit, XL can very easily do exactly what G2 did. This is a team that has been dominant on this map. What do you say, Tom? 9-0 in their history?
No, that was earlier. That was on Haven.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
They're 1-0 on this map.
Yeah, all right. I was thinking. Certainly doesn't look like a 9-0 map.
No, I think they battered Heretics, and then we haven't really seen them play it other than that. Good position again, Chihuahua. He's going to get caught with a little bit of a tag, but luckily he's got the tag team behind him, leaving just Kellogg's remaining. As I said, any kills in this round, even just a little bit towards the Bladestorm would be nice, and he's even going to just take the orb for good measure. Make sure he gets something from it at least. Of course, keeping it clean for XL going to be fairly important. Keep that economy strong. Give them a much better chance in the bonus round. And they are playing this so passive. Like, they're not giving anything to Kellogg. He's basically going to have to walk into the crosshair of Patatek. And by that point, he's already dead.
Dodged the knife, but yeah, unlucky. I'm taking a look at XL's trap wires. So they've got like a multi-layered B defense right now, essentially. And they can freely rotate their Viper to A if they get any pressure there. The hit is going to come through the B side, by the looks of it.
Here.
Yeah, they've now got that trip basically just to try and stop them getting through mid quickly. But with players pushing tube, they already have a lot of information that it has to be in this direction. Tagging one up in the corner will definitely make things that little bit tougher for the remaining players on this site. And Kellogg's, of course, known for that space-taking. Chihuahua, though, has been able to find one. Patatek's found another. This is starting to fall apart with Ozzy on the corner, leaving just Meadow. This was only meant to be a bonus, but he's brought it back. It might just be possible.
I sat there, and he is just dancing left and right, spotting for information, spraying his Spectre where he can, but he was not taking any fights, waiting for that trap wire on site to be hit so he could get a free frag on them. The patience play there was unbelievable, and it bought the time for his teammates to come in while they're desperately trying to get this guy out of that little nook he'd found on the site. He's just completely destroyed.
145.
Don't like
Oh,
to
it's
see
cursed. It's cursed. Of course, no one. We've now witnessed what it would be like if there was a pistol without a slight damage drop of it. I'm glad that isn't something that people could buy for that cheap. That would be horrific. But well, for now at least, a low element, but a couple of low players on the other side, and realistically, still for G2, any damage they can hope to achieve in this round would be huge. Kellogg's not particularly close to his ult, and not going to manage to find anything either. And they are spotting every single attempt that is being made right now for the side of G2. Nice hold from Chihuahua. He's having a game and a half.
behind G2 on the attack. They're going to struggle, but this is where the comeback has to start, if ever. XL are going to be taking this to map 4. I think that looks like a far more reasonable reality. Patatek with a quick ulti. It's going to stop any util from coming towards him. And he's seen 3 players inside of mid. This is huge info. The whole team is rotating, but he has been dropped.
Oh, Element almost managing to find something back on the corner, but not really getting anything for it. And oh, it is going to be an afterplot. Meadow looks back at the perfect time. It's going to give them the info of where they are, but Chihuahua, he's looking to carry this team on his back. Another couple of kills coming in for the Cypher. The hard carry for this team right now. And while Vova sat within his ult, doesn't have much help here from Meadow, just pinging a couple of players here and there, but he can't shoot out of that ult, otherwise it will give away his spot.
Last player standing.
Oh my god.
He's at least got the one, but how much more can be found playing with the Vandal now? You maybe get punished, or maybe not! A Vova!
Oh, would do that.
As we said, and I will always stand by, nobody at Heretics thought that was a good move. It was, that was purely, oh, I like money. Carlos went, hey, look at this checkbook, and they went, oh yeah, there's other esports for us. It's fine. So they gave them the god tier team.
We could build a new tier.
No, you can't. You can, just not like that, and it's going to take a long time to get anywhere near it. But, you know, I respect it, and it's given it to G2, who've built a very, very strong team indeed. One that's 2-0 in maps, but behind on this one. After that clutch from Avova, that might just push them right back into the game. But the problem is always going to be XL's cash. They have that bank built up. They're sitting comfy for this buy round. And Element's going to try his best cosplay of Nukia in this round.
Will he hit the timing anywhere near as correctly? The problem is, there's a trap wire, so it's a little bit different. Oh,
the knife came through.
That's perfect. It suppressed him, so he gets the timing. Oh, this couldn't have gone any better. Maybe the most important piece of utility used this entire game, or what Politics killed everyone as he goes anyway. He used the util and then got all of the kills. It leaves Hoodie on the ground, and Kellogg's trying to bait him in. It hasn't really worked.
For XL, or
Get out of my way.
excuse me, for G2 to consider there, but it has to be one of the most impactful KO knives we've seen.
Yeah, for sure. It also just allowed for everyone else to rotate in, knowing that basically the full squad was there. G2 definitely a little in the mud after that one, and we're going to be mainly focusing on Kellogg's once again, having those knives in hand with an opportunity to try and get this over the line. The fact is, XL, we sort of expected them to be in the driver's seat for this map, but we expected that for the first as well. And they have everything needed, basically, to close this one out.
Well, onto site we go, and Kellogg's is opening it. G2 have found the opening. Now the op comes in. They've dealt with that too. In fact, it was Nukia catching him with the Hunter's Fury. Mo tries to return it, but only good for the one kill. Now the operator's in the hands of Kellogg's. I'll say he hasn't been great with it so far here on Breeze, though. And Avova's gone down. 3 versus 2 still. Chihuahua. There's the kill they need. They've now got an angle from both sides. All they need to do is win their respective duels. And it's Kellogg's on the op that worries me. If he can find a shot, he even has the Blade Storm to go back to if necessary. He misses the first, but Meadows quick to return and leave Patatek alone. Monumental player for this XL squad so far. He finds the first time against him, Blade Storm, but down goes the Fragment. He knows Kellogg's has to push around the side. He's waiting for the peak, but Kellogg's doesn't believe he's sticking it. Walks in. Nukia Hunter's Fury. I'm not sure if he was trying to hit someone else, but it was exactly where Element dashed to. And then they had a Fragment to the left of it. Like, there was nowhere that Element could go. He either had to face or walk into a nade or walk into a Hunter's Fury. And then be caught in the open, tagged up by the Hunter's Fury where they can see him. That was actually kind of huge by Nukia and Hoodie for combining the util and Kellogg's getting the alleyway so that all points were covered.
Well, there was a snake bite on the left side as well.
Oh, really?
So he literally he couldn't run anywhere.
No.
Like in the left corner there was the snake bite, and then there was the Hunter's Fury as well.
And a
so
Fragment.
like he got tagged by the snake bite enough because that's what he peeked into. So then he was insta killed by the Hunter's Fury. It was a really good execution from G2. It's just a shame that they didn't manage to pull it over the line. Of some solid retake. Well, goodbye. This time he is ready for these peaks. They've gone for a similar sort of force out of the corner, but Element is going to take 3. It does not work twice. No Hunter's Fury to kill him this time, and I bet they wish they had it.
There's no way. There's just no way. Avova, you gotta go
30
huge.
seconds left.
Vandal in hand, he finds the first, and up goes the
flank.
wall, but that flank is going to shut down most plant possibilities. 20 seconds left. I mean, there's not a lot of time. Even to cycle that Viper utility. And they're going to need it if they're going to plant open for spawn. No, they're not. Avova's just going to go running through on the back of the flash. A little bit late.
Here.
But it comes down to a 1v2. It's winnable for Huddy. He knows where one player is. He knows where the second is too, but he won't be able to connect anything. XL find this one 13-7, a map that we expected them to win. G2 put up a good fight, but just not good enough.
Yeah, a worldie of a map from Chihuahua.